Welcome to part 3 of my mini series on how to reliably achieve your goals. I'm really excited to finish this off. If you haven't seen the other 2 on clarity and execution, then you can watch those after this. No rush, sit back and relax as we dive into mindset. So hey, what's up family? My name's Mitch. If you're new here, I'm a coach helping you create a life, job, and impact that aligns with who you uniquely are, because you are awesome, my friend. So mindset is a massive part in us actually being able to achieve our goals and live the life we want and reliably hit these big goals. It's said that like 20% of your success is due to strategy and 80% is due to mindset. So this is a massive part. And so I've broken mindset up into 3 parts. The first is alignment, the second is mental clarity, and the third is adaptability. So I've broken up alignment into 3 parts as well. The first is who, getting really clear on the future version of yourself that is actually able to execute on these goals. The second is belief, and the third is practices for you to align with that future version of yourself over time. So in the first video, we went over the what, why, and how of goals. And now we're jumping into who. Who is it that is able to actually achieve your goals? You know, if your goal is to run some successful startup in the future or become, the general manager of the business that you're working in or whatever it is that you're trying to get to, the version of yourself that is actually executing on that is likely slightly different to the person you are today. They're probably more disciplined. They're probably, have some different skill sets, some different confidence. There's a range of differences to who they are and how you are today. So by getting really clear on who that person is, what version of yourself that is able to actually do the things that you want to do, allows us to have a target to aim towards in going about becoming that person. Because if we stay where we are here, our reality and our world is going to stay the same as well. And we probably won't be able to rise to that big goal that we've set for ourselves. I do an exercise with my clients, and I've done it with myself as well. And you sort of think about the version of yourself off in the distance, about 10 meters away from you. And that version of yourself is able to do everything you want to do. They're already doing it. And you look at how they're standing, you look at what they're wearing, you look at, you feel the energy of them and how they are different from you and what their day looks like, and get really clear on that version of yourself that's able to do all the things you want. And the funny thing is, you want to do this for a version that is, a year or 3 years in front, not 10 years. But when you're doing that, when that person is able to actually do all the things you want, people constantly say that the version of themselves that is able to do all that stuff is not far from who they are today. It's not some wild, miraculous, gigantic change they need to make in who they are to be able to do everything they want. It's a couple of small differences between who they are today and that person, and that accumulative difference over time, doing those different actions and small little things every day, that makes them able to do all the things that we want. So the second part of alignment is belief. Belief is so important if you are going to go out and try and do something big, because when we don't believe in ourselves, it really affects how we show up every day. We don't end up taking all the action we need to take because we're constantly stuck in these cycles of self-doubt and doubting whether it's even possible. And, we get stuck in that space. Whereas when we believe, when we really truly have confidence in the fact that it's almost like inevitable that we'll do all the things that we want, how we show up in the world, whether it's how we're talking to people or how we are taking action towards our goals, is a complete night and day. And so how do we end up believing in something that hasn't yet happened? So this is where the practices come in. Having daily practices that push us towards our vision of ourselves and what we want in the future allows us to continuously tap into that and sort of normalize that experience. Suddenly something that seems so unattainable right now, like running that business or doing whatever you want to do, suddenly through continuously tapping in, that becomes normalized. It's fine. Like it's already happening. You can feel how it feels to be running that. You can see how it looks every day. You can see the people around you. You can hear how they're talking about you, how they're grateful for the work you're doing, for, showing up as you are. And you continuously tap into that future version and align yourself. And there's one way to look at that as that being, super spiritual, out there, attracting what it is into your life. But have you ever tried to go up on stage and give a presentation and you haven't practiced that presentation at all? You've just gone up, you've written it out, and you're supposed to go up and present it, whether that be at work or at school. And I remember there was times in my life where I did this and, my hands were shaking, my voice was like cracking, and, I hadn't practiced this thing. And practice gives us confidence in that moment to be able to perform at our best. Well, by continuously tapping into that future version of ourselves, even if you took the spiritual side away from it, it's building that confidence so that when those opportunities come up, you meet that person that is able to actually open a door for you, or, offer you a job or partner with you or whatever it is, you know what it feels like to be in that space. You know what it feels like to be that confident leader that is able to do all this stuff. And so instead of fumbling and, being shocked by this moment and not confident, you've already been here. You already know you're capable of this. So in that moment, you can be confident, you can be calm, you can act in the way that is gonna be best responded to by those people. So there's lots of practices that you could do here. There's visualizing, literally putting yourself in that future environment. You can script. This is my favorite, just like writing out the day that you just had. I write it out as if I'm sort of like coming home from my day and just reflecting on everything. Or there's affirmations. There's a range of things you can do, and I'll make videos on this in the future. So the second main point is mental clarity. Mental clarity is really fundamental to being able to perform at our best. Have you ever just had lots going on, you're really overwhelmed, you feel like you're just all your energy is just up here, you feel dense, and it's just it's too much. Well, that's not where we want to be, and that's not where you're performing at your best. And there's an element of pressure and stress that probably actually gets the best out of us, but when that gets too much, it's just not sustainable on the long term, and you'll probably end up burning out or, just giving up. So I've broken up mental clarity again into 3 easy steps, and that is mindfulness, discipline, and balance. So like I mentioned, over the long term, stress is just going to prevent us from performing at our best and sustainably. So we inevitably will crash and burn, and we won't get where we want to get. So having ways in which you can process what's going on for you and de-stress and just come back into your body, clear your mind, and be able to reset to go forward is really important for you to move forward sustainably. So there's lots of ways that you can incorporate mindfulness into your life. There's meditation, there's going for a long walk in nature, breathing exercises, doing yoga. There's a whole range of things to do, but really just something that you connect with, that you're happy to do on a consistent basis, that's going to allow you to stop and pause and just process everything that's going on for you, and something that you're left on the other side of just feeling yeah, okay, let's go now. Brendon Burchard actually even talks about a good practice in that in between all his tasks throughout the day, he just takes a second, whether it's going to the bathroom or, just taking time at his desk, to take a couple deep breaths and really process what's just happened and move into the next task with a clear head. Because often as we move through our day as well, we accumulate energy, whether that be positive or negative, and we take that energy with us into the next thing, and we compound on that. We just add more and more. Whereas if we can stop, whether that be those little breaths in between or just at the start of your day, at the end of your day, and have some mindfulness practice that allows us to de-stress, calm down, move forward with a clear head. That is going to give us the sustainable performance that we want. So the next part of mental clarity is discipline. And discipline sounds like, this hard word, like this, it's cold and rigid, but discipline is actually freedom in a lot of ways. When we aren't being disciplined, we're not getting the things that we want done, we start to accumulate all this baggage of tasks on us. We start to feel like, I didn't do that today, I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow, and then a couple days of that in a row, and suddenly we've got all these things piling up, and that really weighs you down, like emotionally. Like I think back to when I was at university and you'd have these assignments or tests coming up, and when I hadn't done work, when I hadn't put work towards those things and the pressure was building and building, I would go to hang out with my friends and you couldn't actually even enjoy the time. You couldn't just hang out with your friends because there was this constant nagging and this constant weight, knowing that there was something you should be doing. So when we have discipline, when we're able to actually do the things that we want, when we want to do them, get them done, it actually creates so much freedom in our life because we're able to move forward and enjoy ourselves and live a balanced life because we're not having to always work, because we actually got our work done when we set aside time to do it. And now we can go about our day and just relax and enjoy. And discipline when I was younger was quite a harsh thing. It wasn't coming from a good place. It was like this. It was like I was punishing myself. It was like I'd try to be disciplined and then I would fail and I'd feel shame about it. And then I'd punish myself some more with some more discipline. So stupid. But the best place to come from with discipline is actually self-acceptance and self-love. And Mark Manson talks about this. Willpower sucks for getting things done. It's just not a good strategy long term. And that's that sort of hard self-discipline when you're pushing yourself and striving, and you're gonna fail. And then you're gonna feel shame about it, and that's just a cycle, and that'll continue, and you won't get anywhere, and you'll hate yourself. It's not good. Whereas when we can come from self-acceptance, from self-love, appreciating who we are, where we are right now, appreciating our place in our journey, but wanting the best for ourselves, wanting to do the things that we need to do now so that we can enjoy them later. Because if you see people that are really disciplined as well, they often don't hate that experience. They actually enjoy that. They actually, over time, they've built up their self-discipline, and now it's something that isn't hard for them. They actually like doing those hard things because they know that that hard thing creates that positive outcome for themselves, and they enjoy that positive result. So the pain still is there of it, but it has a purpose. They understand that that is necessary to get to here. So when we're building that self-discipline, coming from self-love is so important. And as Jordan Peterson would say, treat yourself like you are someone that you are responsible for helping. So just build up this self-discipline over time. Keep small promises to yourself and celebrate those wins. Celebrate that experience of actually keeping those promises. And then as you grow, as you think you are capable of dealing with a little bit more, stretch yourself. And through stretching yourself and realizing you're capable of more, that'll strengthen that discipline again. And the final part of mental clarity is balance. It's really easy when we've got big goals, particularly when we're really driven by them, we're really motivated by them, to just throw everything to the wayside and just go 100% at our goals. And although that's, really great, that commitment, it's just, again, like not sustainable. And over time, when we don't have that balance in our lives, when we're not making time for family, for friends, for exercise, for hobbies, for enjoyment, fun, dancing, whatever, that you like to do, when we're not building that into our life, it starts to become empty, and the weight of our work starts to feel heavier and heavier, and as we pigeonhole and tunnel vision into our goals. So the final part of mindset is adaptability. Adaptability is essential on our path towards our goals because, we never know how it's going to actually turn out in getting there. We can have our vision of it and we can move really powerfully towards it, but we never know what the path is actually going to look like. And I use this analogy of moving with the currents of life often, thinking of yourself as water and just moving with what is happening and paddling the best that you can, but life's taking you down a certain journey. And, we can do our best inside that current, but we have to be able to flow with it as well. So again, I've broken down adaptability into 3 parts, and that is focus, surrender, and gratitude. So in focus, like somewhat contradictory, we need to really focus on the things that we want. When we have a goal, go at it 100%. Jeff Bezos actually has said to be stubborn in our vision, but flexible in our execution. And by moving in a focused way, but towards our goals, we create the opportunity for it to actually work. And we open up all these new opportunities and all these new doors around us because we meet people, we do things, we create things. People say like, oh wow, he's actually doing that. That relates to my thing. How could we work together? We might not know exactly how it's all going to unfold, but we create the opportunities. We grow, we learn, we grow our capabilities along the way. And that allows you to more effectively capitalize on all the things that are happening around us. So the next part of adaptability is surrender. It's a really common experience that a lot of people, when they've reached their goals or when they've had their life, they never really thought they were going to end up where they did. But looking back, they can see how all the steps made sense in context now that they are where they are and they're happy where they are. But we can't see those connections from where we are today. And we shouldn't try to work out every single step along the way to where we want to get. That's not helpful. We can still have a vision, have a really powerful vision, know where you want to go, and take every powerful next step that you can along your way to that. But your vision is going to change. Your direction is going to change. But by having that vision, by taking powerful steps towards it, that creates the opportunity for everything to flow around you. And part of surrender is noticing the synchronicities in life. As you're moving towards your goals, as you're taking aligned action, as you're becoming the person that you want to become, the world will present opportunities for what you need to step into. And although we want to be powerfully moving forward and focused on where we want to go, we need to have our eyes open and see what life is bringing to us. What doors is it opening? What people keep re-emerging? What themes keep re-emerging? What do we need to pay attention to here? So it's a bit of a balance. You need to have your vision, you need to focus, you need to move towards it powerfully with discipline, align yourself with that person you're trying to become, but to also understand that consciously we can't know what is coming. And we need to be receptive to life. We need to accept what is being brought and do what we can with that and surrender and know that everything is as it should be. What is coming to us is exactly what we need. And so finally, that leads nicely into gratitude. So gratitude is an incredible skill or mindset that we can all cultivate and develop over time. And not only does it lead to a more optimistic and enjoyable life, but it also creates a good harmony with that synchronicity. As life is bringing you things that you might not be able to see right now, how this is positive or leading you where you need to be, having gratitude and being able to be like, there's something here, that is positive, and just appreciating what you have right now and knowing that you are supported and loved, but even stretching yourself to look for the positive in situations that might not seem positive right now. Like I said before, often people get places and have experiences that seem negative at the time, but without that experience, they never would have been able to step up to that place or be able to represent this group of people or realize that this cause was so important to them. And when we can cultivate gratitude and look for the positive, looks for how life is actually bringing us what we need and that we have everything we need, life is not only like way more enjoyable, way more satisfying, way more optimistic, but also potentially more successful as we can work with life and see how everything is an opportunity. And so gratitude is one of the things that I recommend most to people in, keeping a gratitude journal, just writing down 3 things every day that you're grateful for, and stretching yourself once a day to be grateful for something that isn't on the surface immediately positive. How can that disagreement that I had with that person, how can I be grateful for that? How can I be grateful for losing my phone? How can I be grateful for, losing that new client, whatever it is? And so that is it for adaptability and for mindset as a whole, and for my 3-part series on how to reliably hit your goals. I hope you really enjoyed that. It was great making this and really getting a lot of my thoughts out on how to get where we want to get. And so if you're ever watching this, please watch all 3. It really goes in depth into a lot of my beliefs about how to get where you want to get and how to live your life, essentially. So make sure you go check out my first 2 videos on clarity and execution as part of this 3-part series. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe, comment down below with anything that you took away from this video. I really do appreciate all the comments and, even just the views. Everyone that does take the time to watch these videos, I really do appreciate you. And it's why I would love to hear from you, because I don't know who's watching them as well. So if you are there, I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.